Daniel was a truck driver who had been on the road for nearly 15 years. He'd driven through every kind of storm, every kind of night, but nothing ever truly rattled him. That changed one September evening on Route 66, somewhere in the flatlands of Oklahoma. The highway was unusually quiet, the kind of silence that presses against your ears. His CB radio had been dead all day, and his cell phone showed no signal. Around 12:30 a.m., his eyes felt heavy, so he pulled into a small rest stop he'd used many times before. But this time, it felt different. The rest area was half-lit, one of the tall lamps flickering like it was struggling to stay alive. The soda machine hummed in the corner, covered in rust and dust, as if no one had touched it in years. Daniel got out to stretch his legs, the gravel crunching beneath his boots. That's when he saw her at first. She looked like a stranded traveler, a woman in a flowing white dress standing near the edge of the parking lot. Her skin seemed pale under the sickly yellow light, her hair falling across her face. Daniel called out, "Ma'am, you okay? You need help?" No answer. She didn't even move. He walked a little closer, his boots echoing in the still air. Just when he was about to call again, she lifted her head slightly. Her eyes were dark pits, bottomless, as if no light could exist inside them. Uneasy, Daniel turned back toward his truck to grab his flashlight. But when he turned around again, she was standing right beside him. Her face was inches from his, her mouth wide open in a scream, but no sound came out. The silence was deafening, more terrifying than any scream he had ever heard. Daniel stumbled back, his heart pounding. He bolted for his truck, slamming the door shut. Daniel's hand shook as he turned the key. The engine roared to life, but then something else startled him, the truck's radio. For years, it hadn't worked. He never bothered fixing it. But suddenly, it crackled to life, whispering like a broken frequency. At first, it was static, then a woman's voice broke through. "Don't stop here again." Daniel froze. His breath fogged up the windshield. He looked in the rearview mirror, and his stomach dropped. She was in the back seat. Her hollow eyes stared at him through the mirror, her pale face only inches away. Before he could react, she vanished, leaving only the faint smell of earth and rotting flowers. Daniel drove until sunrise, never daring to look back. By the time he reached the next town, his hands were still trembling. When he told his story at a diner, one of the locals leaned across the counter and said, "You saw her too, didn't you? The woman of Route 66. The man explained that decades ago, a young woman had been killed at that very rest stop, murdered by a stranger. Her body was found in the woods nearby, and ever since, travelers claimed to see her, silent, pale, screaming with no voice. Most drivers just pass through, but those who stop, they never forget her. This day. Daniel refuses to take Route 66 at night. He says sometimes, when he's on long stretches of highway, his dead radio will flicker on. And every time, the same voice whispers the same words. "Don't stop here again." And Daniel knows he never will.